Hey Cancer, welcome Cancer sign, Cancer rising to your solar eclipse reading. Your lunar eclipse reading will be in the extended and I will be speaking to you like this. And that will be available on Patreon to become a member, to buy just as the video itself. It's a new feature they have. Or Vimeo, as always. Okay. As you know, full disclosure, I am a Cancer rising and I am intensely excited about this reading. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about love life first. Okay, there's a few cards already turned over in the deck. We have the Fool. The Fool and the Seven of Cups here. So, let's talk love life. The title of your reading is Testing Shark-Infested Waters. October 12th, Mars moves into Scorpio. October 22nd, Mercury moves into Scorpio. October 23rd, the Sun moves into Scorpio. What does that mean? It means risky behavior. It means being foolish. It means multiple relationships. It means lying, cheating. It means being the other person. It means your morals seem to go out the window, and let's talk about why. And it's in a very specific area of your life. So now we're talking Cancer rising specifically. This solar eclipse happens in your area of love, of flirting, of creativity. You want to be out. You want to do stuff. You want to see people. If you have a Cancer moon, you really want to get into some trouble, and you really want to get into some trouble. And it came out in reverse. You don't care if it's Libra season morally right. To be perfectly honest, Cancer is, as you know, cardinal rivalries go, the Libra Cancer thing, like this is exactly it. This is exactly it. Like, I'm not going to do what you tell me to do just because you happen to have these scales and you think that this is the right way to go about it. I'm going to go off of my gut and off of the faith I have in God knows whatever story I've created in my head. But the moral rationalizing that I need to do, I've done, because according to the story in my head, what I'm doing is right. So, oh yeah, I'm wearing ears. It's October. I don't know. So like, fuck you, Libra. You know, it's kind of the energy, which is, you know, great until it's not. So there's a lot of lying, there's a lot of cheating, there's a lot of talking about lying and cheating, there's a lot of like, did you lie to me? Or what is going on? Or like, what? Like, there's been so much confusion, yeah? So Seven of Cups, first card out, the Fool is like, I don't care. I don't care about the confusion. I'm just gonna push right through, right off this cliff. I don't give a fuck. Okay, so now, the solar eclipse also is a time of endings for you. So a connection that just is not good for you, that you need a lot of rest from. It's taken up so much of your mind. It's taken up so much of your peace, your money, perhaps even more than anything, your peace. You know, you just haven't had a moment to be happy. And this connection, like this solar eclipse is that eclipse. If you go back and watch the general for October, it's the eclipse that says you've been dealing with this for so long, like, aren't you tired? And I think that that's not a question that Cancers get asked very often. And if they were ever to be asked, what would you answer anyway? I don't know if you know how to answer that in the affirmative, but the solar eclipse comes in and says, you know, well, the entire eclipse season for you is basically summed up by these two cards. So in the parenthetical time between the solar and the lunar eclipse, the solar being on the 14th and the lunar being on the 28th, is a time for you to end something that is deteriorating you, for lack of a better term, and to remake your shell. This 14 days is for you to get back to your physical cuteness, to get back to your va-va-voom. You've probably already started in your own ways. Get your body back, tinker the outward at the solar eclipse, and then we'll talk about tinkering the inner at the lunar eclipse. But for now, when we talk about tinkering the outward and getting out of this 10 of Swords energy, we're really talking about just ending that connection, and not because that person isn't giving you what you want. It's that what they're giving you, even if you want it, it's not good. It's not good for you. It's not about what you want anymore. It's like, you know, the woman who calls the police on her husband because he beat her, and then the police show up and she's like, I don't want to press charges. But if it's bad enough, the cops are like, we gotta press the charges. We can't just like let you, you know, it's above me now, is the vibe. So how do you wish to be perceived is a big question for you at this time during this eclipse season. You have such a specific, very traditional way that you like to be perceived and that you like to live your life, and everything that is wild about you is so very wild because it is so controlled, and it can be appropriately put away, right? It doesn't come to the surface. But this perception here has a lot to do with power. It has to do with power struggles. It has to do with being honest with yourself about what it looks like on the outside and what you really want. So of course, on the outside, we pretty much want it to look like this. I think we all do. We all want a powerful partner, someone we can rely on, someone that we find to be appealing and strong and determined. And we like the idea of having this, especially now, Cancer Sun, Cancer Rising, this 10 of Pentacles life of family, extended family, animals, children, money is flowing. And, you know, you get this like general sense, 10 of Pentacles, of like, alhamdulillah, everything is great. That is, of course, how we would want to be perceived, what we want the external to look like. But I think it's really important for us to understand now, without, you know, using too blunt an object to make the point, that we have to fit into this as well. You have to look in the mirror, and you've got to look in here, and you've got to be really honest with yourself if you fit in this picture. Because it's one thing to be able to attract something. You are, like I've said a million times, you are an insanely good magnet. But just because you can magnetize something to yourself does not mean you can sustain it. Being able to sustain a connection, being able to sustain and take advantage of an opportunity that you've called to yourself can only happen if you and your perception of you also fits in this picture. So a lot of us, what we do is we're really good at imagining the picture. We're really good at sending out into that vacuum, into that void space, like, this is what we want, this is how we want it. But when we get it, because we haven't done the proper work on ourselves to fit into this dream that we have for ourselves, it not just slips through our fingers, it crumbles as it slips through our fingers. It's like that doesn't even exist anymore. How did that happen? Why did that happen? So if you find yourself in a love connection right now that's crumbling, be cognizant of the role that you've played in that. Be cognizant of the fact that, you know, to a certain degree, that is a fantasy that you were living out with that person, with that job, with that opportunity. You pulled that into your life, and then what was your role in it? Does your role end once you attract something to you? Is that it? Is that where it ends? Because often what you find is people who have heavy Capricorn or heavy Cancer placements is that they'll be extraordinarily good at getting somewhere and getting to a thing. And then the kind of pedantic, tedious work in terms of energetically just keeping yourself there that it takes to maintain that opportunity or maintain that relationship. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you can't do the work. It's that you take it personally. You're like, well, now you know me, or now we're together, or now I'm working here. You should know that I'm incredible. I shouldn't have to sustain this level of like energetic output. I shouldn't have to still do so much work. The lunar and solar eclipse period here that we're entering, between the solar and lunar eclipse, it's having that hard conversation with you of why not? Why do you think that you don't have to do that work? Why do you think that you don't have to keep constantly updating your energy and updating yourself and keeping yourself on your toes? You're keeping the universe on its toes. Now, for those of you who have like a really, really questionable person in your life and they do questionable things and you like them and you don't know about them and they don't know about you and it's just a mess, that's coming back around. Of course it's coming back around. Sorry, baby. That's coming back around because it's spooky season. Of course it's coming back around. But also, like we were just talking about, that let's look at what's across from us. Again, because of where your sun is placed across from you, you have this Capricorn energy. And right now, because it is this bitter pill that we have to swallow, it's very painful. The dissolution of these relationships, the realizing of how many of your cups you've got to fill, but in a new way. What do you want these cups to look like? What do you want to look like? How do you want to be perceived in the next thing or in the thing that's coming up right now as you're, it's on your heels? This is the work that has to be done now, and this is work that Capricorns are insanely good at. Okay, so what is it? What is it that Capricorns do that Cancers find quite difficult to do? Again, Cancer rising, 3 Capricorn brothers. So I see this in action all the time. Here's the thing about Capricorn energy and what we can learn from it. When there is something that has to be done, okay, and we're going to talk more about this in the lunar eclipse and the career part, which we'll do in the extended. When there is something that has to be done, let's say, for example, the love in a relationship is gone and it has to be over now. The disrespect or the mistreatment has gotten to a degree that it can't be tolerated anymore. When a job has to be left because they're just not reflecting the value that you're bringing, it's not being reflected in what you're taking home. Whatever the decision is that is made, the Capricorn mind is very Jason Bourne set. If you've never seen The Bourne Identity, go watch it. But Jason Bourne is very like, he'll pick up on one clue and be like, Geneva? Okay, Geneva. And he just like closes the computer and leaves. And the next thing you see, he's on a flight, he's in Geneva. Then he goes to Geneva, he talks to one person and they're like, Berlin. He's like, okay, Berlin. And then, okay, that's to say nothing of like inter-Europe travel. It's really easy. Okay, but also Capricorns have this Jason Bourne ability to be like, okay, that's the thing. Okay, the love is gone. I'm moving on. Okay, this person is not who they said they were. I'm moving on. Okay, this place won't pay me what I think is. I'm moving on. And once they decide that they're going to move on, they don't just move on from that person or that thing. The way they pick up speed, remember, fishtail, we're all water here in a way, what we're talking about with all these planets in Scorpio. This is a very watery conversation. How does a crab pick up speed? We're going to learn from this Capricorn energy across from us. What's that fishtail that Capricorns have? What's it powered by? So what they do is they don't just move away from a situation because they're done with it. What they do is they propel themselves forward with extra speed by enhancing themselves along the way of within the process of walking away. So as they're walking away, while they're still in the midst of walking away from something, they already start improving themselves in every imaginable way possible, right? And they continue to do so until they actually feel themselves reach a level where the person that they walked away from is now, they're out of that person's league. And that's what truly makes them feel better. So whatever is dissolving at this time, these power struggles that can lead to breakups, this King of Wands is like, I want my way, I'm gonna get my way, and you're finally tired and you're like, you know what? I can play, you know, as the day is long and being like sweet and cute and okay, daddy, and whatever you want. But the truth of the matter is that I'm a Cancer and you're getting on my nerves. And if you get on my nerves enough, I'm going to take these ears off and you're going to see my claws, and it's not going to be nice. But instead of doing that, instead of having these power struggles, instead of having these really painful breakups, you know, swallow that bitter pill, go through the thing and walk away from it, and do the thing that Capricorn does. As you're walking away, already start enhancing yourself. This eclipse time is so eye-opening for you in terms of your the way you're perceived, and how you look and how you want to look, and what products you should use and what exercises you should do and what colors you should change up and start wearing. It's all open to you right now, and it's fun and it's creative and it's flirty and it's romantic, and it feels very much in your gut and your spirit like this is all leading up to something. And you're right, it is leading up to something. That's the whole point. You've got all this Scorpio energy. Remember, in just a few weeks, we've got water season again. We've got water again. We are thirsty. And when that water comes in, we will finally, we've already got all this Scorpio energy working on us, right? So this is the time for you to not take anything personally. Anything that's dissolving right now, it's only opening the way for you to see and be even more than you are. So a lot of you are going to say, well, I don't want that. I just want my person. I just want my relationship. I just want my job. I don't want this new, you know, me. I don't want to go through this whole project. Okay, but you haven't been wanting to go through it for a long time, which is why we're here. I'll tell you myself. You want to hear it from, okay, I'll tell you myself. I have resisted my feminine energy all my life. Like I said, I have 3 brothers. It's a lot, okay? I have only boy cousins. It's a lot. But you know, I felt it coming on. I felt this like wave of femininity coming, and I denied it, and I kept it like, you know, as much at bay as I could. And one of the major things with me was like earrings. I just don't like earrings. I just don't like wearing earrings. It's too feminine for me. So on the heels of this eclipse coming in, what did I do? I went and got more piercings. I started wearing all of them, going and getting more piercings. So you can, it's a tiny little mundane example of a much larger thing that we're talking about here, which is that you can deny how you're changing. You can deny how things are shifting for you, or you can embrace them and not be so tied in such a rigid way to who you think you are. Because if you are a bit fluid about who you think you are or who you've been up until now, it will be easy for you to get your physical mojo back, get your mental mojo back, get your emotional mojo back, because there is no jumping off point. You can just create from nothing. It doesn't matter what's happened. It doesn't matter where you've been. It doesn't matter how it went. It doesn't matter what it used to look like. We're here now. This is what we can do now. This is what we're doing now. This is how you can look now. This is what you can become now. It's good. All right. So we're going to do this in the extended, and we're going to talk about career and how Mars and Scorpio works there and what cards come up. We're going to talk about the 4th house for Cancer risings. We're going to talk about what happens when the sun moves into Scorpio. And we're going to talk about the lunar eclipse. And we're going to pull cards for that. And the main takeaway, we're going to wrap it up with this idea of satisfaction. Resisting the urge to break into song. Okay, your Halloween video is coming. It will be on Patreon. And it is Barbie. Okay, love you. I'll see you in the extended. All the links are below, including personal reading. Also, before I go, I am taking on just a few, maybe 2 or 3, I haven't decided yet, personal clients that I'm adding to my private list of clients. So that's, you have me on call. You can call me whenever you want and do like a half an hour reading. I rarely take on clients, so email me if you're interested and we can begin the process of like whether or not it works for you. Okay, love you. Okay, hi Cancer. Welcome to your extended. I love this extended, this new way of doing it. I was getting bored with the other way, and also I just feel like there's so much shit that I want to talk to you guys about that I just can't talk to you about on YouTube. Like, I know that's supposed to be the whole purpose of like putting it behind a paywall, but I don't know. It's different when you're looking at the cards and not looking at me. Like, I just can't talk to you the way I want to. Bitch. Let's talk about this fucking lunar eclipse. Okay, so October 28th. Now I see, you know, the 10 of Swords is here, but, you know, the 10 of Pentacles is here too. Like, this is very much for us. One door closes, the other door opens. But I know we be attached to our doors. We be really attached to our doors. So now, okay, lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse.